Yeah. Mm. Just yeah, we can talk about if any questions about these different position instruments and efforts, and how these vowels and the consonants are put in different lines here. And some people had questions about the internal effort or the primary effort and what are these efforts. And then we can also talk about these different sounds and probable equivalents in English. Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
Sorry?
Yeah, what is the question, Radhika?
Oh, the nya sounds. The last line of those nya, the different na sounds. I wanted to review the very last letter. Yes, correct.
This whole column?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Just to distinguish between some of them.
Right. So each line, let me just quickly repeat here. Each line is the basis of putting these different sounds on different lines is the sthanam and the karanam also, the position and the actuator. The sthanam or the position is for this line, each line is written here. So the sthanam is where the air is stopped, because these first 25 are all the stops. The air is stopped or blocked. So these in the oral cavity. So these 25 stops. That's why the internal effort for these is sprishta, right? Here sprishta, or the contact or the stop. And the actuator for each line is different. Jihva mola, root of tongue. Jihva madhya, pariveshtati jihvagra, etc. Right? Jihvagra, and the last one is the oshtha, the lip. And the columns are distinguished, each column based on the external effort. Now, before going to external effort, the last column here, the sthanam or the position for each one is this defined here as for example, this one is talu. But the last column also gets additional position, sthanam, which is the nasal. So when the air is being blocked here, air also passes through the nose while pronouncing these are last columns, the last sounds in the last column. Okay. So while pronouncing this na sound, in English, let's take the example of we have the ink sound, ink word here, INK. We write different words in English mostly using the nasal sounds are written using N and M, right? N and M. So ink is one example. Then the other one is like engage, okay? Or English, for example. So that is a second word using N here. And using M, we write important, for example, imp, the important. So these are different words in English. For the nasal sound, the letter used is N or M here. But when we actually pronounce them, most of us, we do not pronounce them as N or M. So here, for example, the first one, if you take I-N-K, ink, we are not pausing at N. N is actually, if you take this N separately, for example, N-O-T, not. So here we are pronouncing N here, N. What is N in this chart here? The N is falling here, right here, N. So Dantamula, root of upper teeth, is the position with touched with the, it is touched, contact is made with the tongue tip when we pronounce N. Not, not. Just above that root of the upper teeth. No, not. But when we are pronouncing ink, we are not taking the, though there is an N here, we are not taking that tongue tip to the root of the upper teeth. We are not pronouncing N. We are not saying ink, ink. So we are, what is happening here is, it is following the sthana of a position of K, which is the next letter. Ink, ink. So K, the position for K is Hanumola. Position for K is Hanumola, that is upper jaw. That is like K, how we pronounce K or G. So while we are pronouncing this N sound in between, or in English it is represented here with N, because there is no other letter or symbol in the English alphabet to represent that sound. So what is happening here is we are writing N, but the pronunciation is changing to something different. So we can notice that the pronunciation is, the position of the tongue and where the tongue touches is same as this K, K, G, G. You know, whatever is pronounced, like K, K. So when we say N here, when we are saying ink, the position and the touch is same. However, there is a nasal sound coming out. We are not pronouncing it K. The position is same, but the air is coming out through nose, so that is a nasal sound. So along with that position, which is same as K, similar to K, the air is also pushed through the nose. So it changes to Ng. So that is the sound here in this position, so in this cell here in the chart. Ink. That is because K is followed, because the K sound is just after that Ng sound. Yeah. So in Sanskritam also, if you take the example for this word, which has this sound, for example, let's take Anga or Kanka. Kanka, we write it as Ka. And if we write it in English, the question comes, how do we write it? Because there is no symbol for Nga sound. So we just use K-A-N-K. Kanka. But in Sanskritam, in Devanagari, we have a letter for that. So this is the symbol for that in Devanagari script. In many other scripts also, there is a symbol for this sound. In any Indian, at least in the Indian language I know, there is a special symbol. So we don't have to rely on this Na here, N here. Then Devanagari, we write it Ka in Kanka, and Nga sound is there, this sound, that is consonant is represented with a slant line at the bottom, and then there is a ka after that. Kanka. But if we are, so it doesn't, what I want to say is it doesn't matter. So the initially, suppose the word is like this. There are two separate words. One says kan, another says ka. That's it. One says there is one word called kan, the other word called ka. Let's say here, kan and kan kana. But when we pronounce them separately, we can pronounce them as kan and kana. And here the na remains na only, this na, because we can touch the tongue tip to the root of the upper tip, and we can bring out this sound called na, kan, kana. But when they are pronounced together, without pause in between, then the sound automatically changes to nya. So because of that, we pronounce it as nga here, and because we are pronouncing it as nga, we write the symbol for that nga here, kankana. Now take the next example, English here. English. Here also the writing in English, in the English language, English alphabet is N only, N here. But actually pronunciation, we are not using this na here. We are not in English. We are changing it to this sound, nga sound, English, because after this na sound or N sound, after this N, there is immediately a ga sound which is on this line. So there is a ga here. So English, it is changing to nga sound. So that is we are representing with this symbol in Devanagari script, nga, Devan, English. The same thing goes for the other letters also. So if you take this this sound, ya. Let's take the example of Anjana. In English language we have enjoy. Similar example is enjoy. So if you are trying to pause a little bit here, we can hear the sound of na here. Enjoy. I'm going to mute sound. There is some sound coming. Okay. Enjoy. Oh, there is some other sound from some other source. Hold on. Joke. Hello.
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I was looking at, I was trying to mute one by one, and I found the source. I muted, so if anybody has questions, please unmute and ask them. Your line has been muted now. Yeah.
Would you please review the matras? How long is a matra and the length of time for each one of the vowels for the matras, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So enjoy, for example, I'll do that. Enjoy, E-N-J-O-Y is enjoy. Here, if you stop there, pause there, enjoy. But if you do not pause, if you pronounce quickly here, enjoy. Enjoy. So this, if you hear that, the sound is changing to, the position of the tongue is changing to this position. talu and juha madhya, which is the position of j, ja. And you say ja, we are hitting the top portion of in the mouth with the top portion of the tongue. So this sound is also changing, the position for this is also changing to the same thing, which is ja, but additionally it is sounding nasal. So we are pronouncing this sound there, which is with this symbol nya. Enjoy, nya, enjoy. Then Sanskritam example for the is written like this, anjana, and obviously it can be written like separately also. This is just a anjana, just a matter of writing. How do you want to write it? Both are same. This is the consonant without any vowel added to it. But immediately after this consonant, the ja sound comes out. So anjana. Then the next example is na here. Now, so this is similar to and. In English we say and. So here there is da sound. Because there is a da sound, and in again the English, I think there is a little bit difference here, because these are murdha sounds where we are saying that ta, tha, da, tha, na. These are to be pronounced by the underside of the tongue, tip of the tongue, by hitting this part. Hitting this part. Na. So for English speakers, it may be a little bit challenging, because as I understand, there is no real t sound in English language. These sounds are not there, and even these sounds are not exactly there. So if you want to say a and, so for English, native English speaking, probably it will touch somewhere, the tip of the tongue touches somewhere here, somewhere here, sorry. Not exactly root of the teeth, but still above that, if I'm right. So, and so there I can still touch my tip of the tongue and still say na there, na, and so I can keep touching the tongue tip here and still pronounce and the other, and but the murdha crown letters are supposed to be pronounced from here, still upwards, not from here. So when you are touching the tongue here, it has to curl up, curl backwards, and with the back side of the tip, pronounce the murdha, the entire line which falls here in the crown line here. The same rule applies to the last letter also here, no. So in English, and is there, and in Sanskritam there is a word called anda. Anda. So if we pronounce them separately, we can keep this un and da. Like it is saying un and ta, or undo. Let's say undo. Anda in Sanskrit means egg. Anda is egg. But if there is a lot of pause between there, then we can still pronounce another. But if they are pronounced closely without a gap, then what happens is this na changes to the position of da, which is this, and it becomes nasal also. So we are changing the position also to this, and da. So just before bringing this sound out, da, the na is pronounced. Na is pronounced. So the position remains same. So we say the writing changes to anda. The script changes to na, representing this sound. And this sound is obviously familiar, na sound. So we have ant, for example, or the one we saw, what is a good example for this? A na sound.
Oh, all of the letters, right? Not note.
Nose, but at with the consonant after that.
Oh.
Until.
Yeah, like for example, say ant. That is the difference between Sanskrit and English. So when we say ant, so here what is happening is we are actually touching the tip of the tongue, as I showed here, somewhere here, and na is coming out there, na sound, and there is a ta sound coming here, and ta. But in Sanskritam, as on this chart, we have this one, murdha here, which will have to move the tongue still upwards, okay, where there is a little bit curve is there, in that position. And then we'll have to touch that with the back side of the tip of the tongue. So that changes this last to ta actually. So that changes it to this ta, which is different than what we are saying in ant. So it's a little bit lower. And which are like previous one, which the example I showed, which and da sound, and da position.
Anthrax.
Yeah, anthrax probably, anthrax, because there is a tha coming there. This one, anthrax. So in Sanskritam there are many words with na here, followed by the consonant like anta. Anta. Anta means end. Anta. So because there is a ta, this ta here, the na remains as na only. It doesn't change to any of the other sounds. The position and the sound remains root of the teeth with the tip of the tongue. The last one, ma. Ma sound is, I think in English also it's common one, like important, imp. So here we are not writing it as imp, right? Imp, because there is a p there. Pa sound is there. Pa consonant sound is followed. It follows this ma sound, and we are not pronouncing it as na sound. We are changing it to ma sound. And there is, for ma sound, there is a symbol in the English chart of letters, alphabet. So we have ma there, imp, ma, because it is a labial. In Sanskritam, there are many sounds like kampa, like kampa. So we are not stopping here. So I am writing it like this. Then this slant line indicates that there is no pause between ma and pa. Kampa. Because
complicate.
Yeah, complicated. Kampa.
Ambulate.
Yeah. Similarly, there is amba. If we want to take the example as ba, there is amba. 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 Amba means mother. Amba. And there is ambha also is there. Ambha. Ambha means water. Ambha. See that? Is that little bit clear, Radhika?
It is. It's a lot clearer. I think I need to. So if I understand, first of all, it's a lot clearer. But one of the cues I think I can use now when I see this letter is if I'm trying to figure out where to position the tongue, I can look to the other letters in the word, right? And that can give me a clue. I mean, obviously I can memorize it. It's not that hard, but it's
right.
Pronunciation is the problem, right? So if I think about how to pronounce like the "th" for when you did the anthrax, because this is the easiest one, right? Then I can think the "na" is going to be towards the front because the whole.
How to pronounce these sounds is simple. You have to just know what if it is followed by a consonant, it is easy, right? Suppose it is followed by k, then you change it to ng sound, and the position remains as a k, like we saw it ink, because k is immediately after this nasal sound. This nasal sound should have the same position as the following consonant. So that is the cue or the clue. But if it is followed by a vowel, because now you know that how it is to be pronounced, then it is easy to know. Yeah. If it is followed by a consonant, how it is to be pronounced, the same position as that following consonant. Now we know that. And now each of these sounds can be followed by any of the vowels also, and not only the consonants. So this, for example, ng, this can be followed by any vowel. So if it is followed by just a, then it is written like this and pronounced like just ng, ng. So the position remains like this, like ka, but the sound also becomes nasal. The sound coming to the nose also, with that tongue touching at this position. Nga. And it can be any of the, I can add any of the other vowels also to nga. It becomes, if you add nga, after nga, if you add an a, it becomes nga. And it can become ni if you add e. Similarly, ni, it is a longer sound. Similarly, nai, no, no. A, I, O, O. Those can be added. Same thing with others also. This becomes ya, 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 yi, yi, nyu, nyu, yo, yo. No, na, ni, ne, no, no, ne, nai. The important is position remains same here. Na. So these are simple. Na, na, ni, no, no. Ne, nai, no. Ma, ma, mi, mo, mu, mu, me, my, mo, mo. It remains, position remains same.
So when O generally looks ahead, though, to the following letter to establish.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Thank you.
If it is a consonant. Regarding the matra, just to, how long is the matra? So what in the ancient texts like Pratishathyas and the Shiksha Granthas, the compositions, we do not find the exact like measurement in seconds or something. So they just say matra, 1 unit. Matra literally means unit of measurement. So matra, they say just say, because they were all used to just pronunciations and the talking in Sanskritam. So they just say the amount required to pronounce E sound. For example, E sound is 1 matra. E, the amount required. It is just like suppose we are cooking, like cooking recipe. Suppose we are experts in cooking. We don't actually say like use this much gram, this much. Like, just one pinch of salt. Like, what is pinch? Just like that, because we know what is pinch, something like that. So they said the amount required to pronounce the amount required to say or e is 1 matra. Now this has been later analyzed, diagnosed, for example, based on the day. One day is so many in that so many minutes are there, and they are measured in different units in a different measurement system, like muhurta, nadika, kastha, kshana, etc. In the Indian context, they are divided by logically divided by these different numbers like 24, 48, etc. So once we come down to nimesha is something like the amount or the time required to blink, let's say. So that turns out to be 0.42 seconds about. So so for example, there's some unit called laghu. Laghu is a 96 seconds, and kastha is 15th part of it. So that turns to be 6.4 seconds. And 1 kshana is 1/5 of the kastha, which is about 1.28 seconds. And you divide that kshana by 3. 1/3 of a kshana is a nimesha. It's called about a blink. So that is about 0.42 or 0.43 seconds. So now this we can equate it to matra. 1 matra is about 0.43 seconds. So that is E. The amount required to say a short letter or a sound in a short form. Because each letter, as we saw here on this chart of letters, the vowels. The matra applies to vowels. Mainly, matra applies to vowel because only those can be pronounced. The other vyanjanaksharam, the consonants, they can be pronounced, but to bring them out, we need the one of the swaras, one of the vowels there. Without the vowels, the consonants cannot be expressed or they cannot be brought out. So in the vowels we have this what is represented shown here. E. Yes. These are the short vowels, and to pronounce one short vowel, 1 matra is used. 1 matra, unit of time is 1 matra, about 0.43 seconds. Sorry, not E, U, and then those are the only short vowels we have studied. There are other short vowels we'll study in the next class. E, U. This is the matra. Now to double that, it becomes double the matra, double the unit, double the time. So that is how the dirgha sound. That's called dirgha. These are called hraswa. Short ones are called hraswa. Hraswa literally means short. Hraswa. Is it not clear? Hraswa literally means short. And double that amount, we get the dirgha sounds. So double the amount, it's about 0.85 or about 1 second, and then E, then U. So these are like, whenever pronouncing them independently or during the study, you may find them elongated, just to make it clear that everybody understands that I am pronouncing the long dirgha sound, like E. That doesn't mean E should be elongated like that. E. In the prayoga, means in the practical usage, the E sound is like dirgha, which is about twice the amount of E. For example, if we say Isha, when you say Isha or Ishvara, here we have the dirgha sound, Isha. When I'm trying to say, emphasize that Isha, I am elongating this more than required. Isha. But when day-to-day practical usage, I'm not going to say Isha. I'll just say Isha. 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 Yeah.
When we practice these words at home, I know it's. I mean, my parent, when I get feedback, I know that I'm not able to elongate it correctly because, that'll be the correction. They'll say, oh, make it longer. And is there a way for us English speakers to learn this rhythm? Because it's not, unless I over-exaggerate it, and that doesn't work so well. Anyway, is there a way to practice the mantras that?
Yeah, I understand that. I heard that. Yeah, that is a challenge. So I'll have to think for the practice. For example, let's in the example, not the Isha. Let's say, for example, there is a name called Amit. So how do you say, and if I write that in Devanagari, it becomes Amit. So here there is a E sound in between. E sound is riding, it is after this Ma sound, Ma consonant. Right? Ma is a consonant, after that there is a E sound. And they have to be pronounced together. So how do you pronounce Amit? Let me add this O also at the end, because there is a Amita, or there is a O at the end, Amita.
So Amita.
No, not A. It is just Amita.
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 Amita. As opposed to Amita, which my inclination, right, as an English speaker is Amita.
Yeah, for example, this one also is a commonly mispronounced, I say, right? Y-O-G-A. There are classes everywhere. So what do we say? What classes are going on?
Yoga.
So generally around everywhere they say yoga classes, right? At least in India we say yoga classes. But that is not it is not yoga, the yoga.
Okay.
It is short over here.
Yoga.
It is not it is not yoga. But I was trying to highlight the E sound there. Okay. Amita. Here the E sound, if it is a dirgha, if it is a long sound, this is a short sound which might be fine, like Amita. And if it is a long one, example, let's say, Amita, and so I'm thinking of a long one which is falling in between and also the end also. Like say, Nadi. Nadi means river, written in Devanagari as Nadi. So how do you say this?
Nadi.
Yeah, Nadi, that's correct. Now, if it is a single word dangling like this, then to emphasize it, we may say Nadi, but actually it is Nadi, and when suppose there is some other word after this, Nadi, for example, Nadi, Nadi Vahati. Vahati means flows. Nadi Vahati. So we are not elongating this E very much compared to Amita, Ami. In that E, we are just doubling the amount here. Amita, Nadi Vahati. See that subtle difference there. Amita, Nadi Vahati.
Amita, Nadi, Nadi, Amita.
Amita, Nadi Vahati. So there is a word following that. If it is just standing by itself, it sounds like it is there is a elongation there too much, like Amita, Nadi, Nadi. But there is a word following that, and the doubling here is still there. It is longer than what we say Amita, Nadi Vahati. But when we say independently as just Nadi, it might feel longer, and we may tend to stretch it longer, which is fine. But I am saying this is the practical usage here, Nadi Vahati, in a sentence. Amita, Nadi Vahati. Amita, Nadi Vahati. So this Nadi E is coming at the end here, and if it is in between the sentence also, for example, let's say, Shrikara. Or we are not studying Shri, so sure. So let me stick to Dhivara. Dhivara in Sanskritam, Dhi. Where is the Dha sound falling here? The sound is yeah, right. It is root of the upper teeth. Dha, Dhivara. Dhivara means fisherman. Dhivara. So here also there is a long E here. So if you compare this Amita, Amita, Dhivara. So you are elongating this compared to E, Dhivara, Amita. So try to say Dhivara here, Dhivara.
Dhivara.
Yeah.
Amita. Dhivara. It's very clear. Thank you.
And if somebody is practicing, it is better to elongate more than elongate less. Elongate more and then try to practice it to elongate lesser and lesser. Do not elongate more than required. Amita, Dhivara. Dhivaraha, Amita. Amitaha, Dhivaraha. Other thing to remember is that Alpa Prana Mahaprana. Before that, maybe somebody can. I would like somebody to pronounce some of these words, mainly the Murdha words. We can start with this one. this letter, like ka, mm, mm. Anybody would like to volunteer other than Radhika? To pronounce this, pronounce the words.
Kaka?
Yeah, kaka. Kaka. Kaka means crow.
Oh,
Now,
nice.
and the next one is this one.
Hug.
So there, yeah, good. The khaga means bird. Khaga means bird. Kha, this is important to pronounce because this is a Mahaprana, which is requiring more breath, which is like explosive, right? This is compared to ka, this is explosive breath. Kha, khaga. Now the other thing is like just like we are trying to do with Amita. At the end, we have to pronounce that completely. We should not stop at. We should not shorten this like khag. Khag, there is a shortening. So we have to pronounce it as khaga. Khaga. Leave that. Relax at the end. Khaga. Can you do that again? Khaga.
Khaga.
Yeah. Khaga.
Khaga.
Right. So do not shorten at the end. Khaga. Yoga. Khaga.
Excuse me, Sanjeev ji. The g there, which one is that? I kicked up for your handwriting, and I can't figure out what that is representing in the Devanagari.
Ga.
Yes, please.
The ga sound is this one.
And yeah, which one is that on the chart? The third row? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to differentiate.
Ka is here. Ga is here. Yeah. While typing this computer, there are different fonts. There is while writing, we usually do this circle at this first one. Like we do like this. It doesn't have to be exactly straight. You can little bit bend is fine. But some of the printed ones, the fonts, you can't see that circle clearly there. So looking at that, we don't have to actually write like a triangle or the filled one, right? It's not necessary. But, okay.
Okay. It seems obvious now, but before I couldn't see it.
Yeah. Then there is a gha. The next one is, example is, so where are these? How do you pronounce this?
Ghat.
And then relax at the end. Do not shorten the last
Ghat.
No, last after that
Ghat.
Ghata.
Ghata.
Yeah. Try to pronounce them separately. Then ghata. Together is ghata. So last one, this is generally happens. What happens is the last is shortened. Do not shorten it. Like don't pronounce it as ghat. Same thing is like Rama. While pronouncing Ram, we have to pronounce the end relaxed in a relaxed way. Rama. Like don't pronounce it as Ram.
Maybe she's having trouble with when you have the halanta on the end, when you don't have the halanta on the end.
So that is, we are not pronouncing halanta here. We are pronouncing a vowel at the end. We are not pronouncing consonants at the end here. So we are pronouncing relaxed at the end. Better.
But does she know what a halanta does?
I think so.
Okay.
Halanta is consonant. What she is referring to is halanta means consonant. And I think in the last class we discussed how a consonant, if it is at the end of a word, how it needs to be pronounced. For example, we have let's say with something with the k. Let's say just take this simple example, come.
Come.
So here, this is referred to as Vyanjanam consonant, and in Vyakaranam, this word is a halanta. This whole word is a halanta. Because in grammar, we'll see a little bit later, and briefly we'll see the Maheshwara Sutras. So in that, hal is a abbreviation for Vyanjanam, just a hal. Hal falls in the, hal represents a group of consonants, all the consonants. So halanta means ending in a consonant. Halanta, anta means end, that we saw, right? Anta means end. Hal anta means ending in a consonant. So here this word ends in a consonant, ma. But technically, as we saw, a consonant cannot be pronounced by itself without help from a vowel. So when we try to say come, so however short we make the at the end, there is like however short we try to pronounce this, there is still an element of at the end there. Come, come. There is an element of So in the Shiksha Shastra, they say that the consonant, when it is like this pronounced by itself, is we should try to make it half matra. Yeah? When we say a short vowel like E, so it is one matra, so half of that. Try to say half, shorten this. Come, we are trying to say. So our consonant by itself has a unit of, time unit of half matra. That is the definition. But in this, also at the end, there is half of this, 50% of this is an element of a vowel or sound there. Come. So this is a principle to remember. However, when we are pronouncing something like khag, khaga, so this we should, this obviously, this is not a halanta, or this is not a consonant ending, where if it is consonant ending, we would have written it like this, khag, or something like this, khag. But there is a full at the end, full It's not half one-fourth nothing, there is a full So we have to pronounce it completely, khaga, khaga, has to come out completely, khaga.
Can you go over which vowels you have, the 3/4 matra and 1/4 matra and half a matra and half? I'm confused on that.
Yeah, so yeah, we can quickly finish this. This pronunciation we already seen. And what about cha? For example, chama, sa, chama, chamaka. How do you say this? Can you pronounce this? Cha. We are focusing on this sound. Cha.
Cha, ma, ka.
Yeah. Cha, ma, ka. Cha. Cha. So focus. Yeah, focus on touching this. If your position is right with the actuator right, then the pronunciation will be right. Cha, cha, ma, ka. Now, then the difference between cha and cha. The next one is explosive. Cha. So we are adding more breath there. Cha. Example goes as let's say cha. Chata, let's say. Or chada. There is a word called chada. Chada. Cha. I write it as double H here. This is just a symbol because there is no alphabet for cha in English. Cha, chada.
Chada.
Yeah, chada. The next one is ja. So we know jala, right? Jala is a simple. Or also we have jada. This highlighted as uppercase D to represent this one. It is not this sound.
Jad.
Huh?
Jad.
Yeah. Ja is correct. So like in jala. Jala is water. Jada is heavy. Jada is heavy or slow. So ja.
Jad.
And
Jad.
the problem comes here. This is a murdha sound.
Soft da. Soft d. Right?
Like something like a dog.
Jad.
Yeah, correct. Again at the end relax that jada. Jada.
Jada.
Yes, jada. And jha. Jhara. Let's say jha. Jha. This is
Chara.
jha. And here we have seen. And now the question, the most important is this murdha. Crown one. Like in gha, the second letter was ta. Ta, this ta. So where are we going to pronounce this one? Position murdha, at the back of the tip of the tongue.
Cha.
Yeah. Ghata.
Cha.
Ghata. Then there is for this one tha. We have ma tha.
Cha.
Yeah. Matha. Matha.
Matha.
Matha.
Yeah. Correct. Matha.
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 Matha means house or dwelling. Dwelling. Nowadays it is used where the monks live. Matha. And then this one we have seen jada, that ja, and dha. This is
Dharana. Which one would that be? Dharana.
No, that dharana is this dha, not dha. Dha, dhara, dharana then we have to use this tantamola, not murdha. Okay? Dha. Dha, touch the back of the tongue, tip of the tongue to the back of the teeth, not to the murdha. Dharana.
Dharana.
Hmm.
Dharana versus ga.
There is another with the dha I remember, which is this is double O, moo, and just dha with O at the end. Relax, moodha. Moodha.
Moodha.
Yeah.
Martha.
Moodha.
Martha.
Not ma. Moo. Like the cow moo.
Oh, okay. Mutha.
Yeah. Moodha.
Mutha.
Yeah. Moodha means stupid. Okay. So this also ta, tha, da, dha, na. These, make sure that you put the tip of the tongue to the root of the teeth, not above it. So, because what I think is in English pronunciation, these two have no separate position. So they are just, both are
bungled. I mean, now that we're really going over this, I realize that there's, for me, very hard to distinguish the difference between any of these.
Like what I understand it, both the lines, the position is here. Like when we say dental, that da is coming here. Dental, not. But whereas in Sanskritam, that da goes here, like directly. And the other da, like in dharana, that goes here. Teeth.
Right.
Not in between. So these two lines are distinct pronunciation. Tha, tha, we say anthrax, like anthrax. Like dama. Dama is something like control. Dha, like you said, dharana, dha or dhara. Dharana, it should be back of the teeth. Dharana, dha. And pa, these are simple, I think. Only pa, like for example, pa, like para. Para is different, or another one means pa. Pa, this is simple, like a pop or something like that. Pa, without the element of ha in it. Like we should not, when we are saying pop, we may be adding the ha sound, like pop. But this is without the ha sound, pop. Then the next one is pa. Now here some of us might be finding it difficult, because in English when we say father, so this is a different kind of sound, where this pa is a different one. For example, when we say phala, when we say father, we're trying to push the air through the upper teeth, and the lips are very close and they're not completely closing. Father. But whereas in pa, lips are completely closing here. Pa, phala. Then ba, I think is clear, like a big. Ba, bha, like in abhor, something like that. Abha, bha. Amma is simple. So the other question was here, combination of swaras, different vowels. Now the base vowels we have the e, u, these three, which are the is the most relaxed one, most natural one. It has a special status both in this as the very first letter in this chart of letters, and also in the spiritual discussions and treatises and all that. Has a very special status. They say ultimately it represents all the sounds, and by that it represents the Supreme Being itself. So, so most relaxed, most natural. Then we have E, whose position, if you remember, it is the talu, right? Similar to ch, like in chat, the talu. And then E, that is E some, but the difference between the consonant and this E is that consonants, they touch, the tongue touches here, but here when we are saying E, there is no touch. Then the U, in the U, the air passes through the gap between the lips. U. U. And elongate that we have each one A, E, U. Now by mixing these in different combinations, we have other vowels here. So we start with If we mix with itself, then we get A, right? We get A. But if you mix A with E, then what do we get? A with E. So you can experiment with it. Like you start with and quickly change it to E. E. So you can start with is a very natural position, right? And change it to E very quickly in the sense, really quickly. If you pause it, then it will sound weird. It's like a slow motion, jarring. But you quickly say it, and quickly move from to E. Quickly move the position of tongue from to E position. So then it changes to A here. So that is the basis of that combination of the matras here. So we are moving it very quickly. The element is only half matra and E element is more there. E element is 1.5 matra. 1.5, 75, 25%, 75%, like that. E, A. For A, is that better? Is that clear for A?
Yeah, so the is 25% and the E is 75% of the matra, but it's all one matra? Is it all one matra?
Together it is 2 matras.
Oh, it's 2 matras.
Yeah. So A is sandhi. So only this E, U, only these are 1 matras. Whereas A is 2 matra because there are two A's are combined in this A. And this E, there are also 2 E's are there. This is also 2 matras. And U also there are 2 U's. So this is 2 matras. In A, there are 25%, half matra and 1.5 matra of E. So total is 2. So the amount of unit, again you can think of in terms of units. So that is 2 matras there, A. Similarly, if you take O here, then you combine O with U. So this is 1 matra, U is 1 matra, independently pronounced. but when we are combining it them, again O is 25% and U is 1.5, 75%. So together it becomes 2 matras here.
Okay,
It becomes,
that really helps. Thank you.
yeah, so it becomes O. But when you say I is a combination of A and E. This A and E. So A itself is 1 matra, right? A cannot be half matra. A is 1 matra and E is 1 matra. So I. So still there is a 1 plus 1, there is a 2 matras here also. Okay? I. And similarly, A and U, it becomes O. Ow. This is also 2 matras. So there are these, some of you may know already, but these in between also there are few 3 vowels here, which we'll take up next week, because these are related to the consonants here. So that's why I have not covered them so far. So they are just there in between. Now, some of you might be having the question, like suppose we are combining A and E, it changes to A, and I changes to I, and U changes to O, and U changes to OU. Now, can we make this reverse? Like, can we start with O and add A? Can you start with E and then add A? Yeah, it is possible.
Yes.
Hmm?
It seemed logical.
Yeah. So any combination should be possible, right? So we can go this way or we can go this way. Any combination should be possible, and it is possible. So when we go this way from beginning to the right side, then we start getting these sounds, right? A, E, that is you change the position of the tongue, A, starting with A and E, change it to E, then we get E, and so on. But when it is possible to go reverse. However, we'll again cover that in next class. That is when these are produced, these sounds. Okay? They do not remain as vowels. They change to consonants, which is a different category here. Okay? So if there are no questions, any questions? Otherwise, we can stop today. Huh? Yeah.
Is that because the same way that the nya and the ma are formed, then it makes a sh sound when you go backwards?
Sure. You mean sure?
Like when you're making those backwards, going backwards and creating a sandhi, is that why?
No, everything is a sandhi. So when you go forward also it is a sandhi.
Right. But
So,
then it makes it sound like the nya and the ma. Never mind.
Yes. These are not related to ya and ma. Ya and ma, they are just the nasal sounds.
Never mind. I'm sorry. My mind took some strange leap, I think. No.
Yeah, these are the nasal sounds. There is no combination of vowels here. Unless we can add a vowel after these consonants, that is a different case. But when we are combining two vowels, like from forward towards the end, similarly we can come from end towards the back. End towards the front. So that is also possible. So that combination we will see in the next class when we come to start looking at this. So we have completed, I think, this part. Just the standalone separate line within the consonants is still remaining, which we'll cover next class. And hopefully I will cover this as well as the Along with that, we should be able to finish these remaining consonants and the last two also here, which are neither consonants nor vowels. Okay.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.
So no questions, nothing. We can stop here today, and you all have good evening or good day, everyone.
You too. Happy Diwali. And
Diwali.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.